What's up, guys? Today we're going to try out some inner tube sealant to see if this stuff actually works. I've always seen it as a bit of a gimmick, so we're going to actually test this stuff out and put it in a tube, puncture the tube with different sized objects, and see if it'll actually seal the tube. Step one for putting sealant inside of the tube is removing the valve core. If you didn't know, all Schrader valves have a removable valve core. You'll need a tool, kind of like what's shown here, to remove it. Some Presta valves have a removable valve core, some don't, so you'll have to check to see if your valve is removable or not. Here you can see what the valve core actually looks like whenever you pull it out. First up, we're going to try some slime. Slime is probably what you think about whenever you think of tube sealant. You can find this stuff at department stores, some bike shops sell it. You can get it online pretty easily. I do know it's an oil base, so it's not water soluble. It can get a little nasty whenever it does actually come to filling a puncture. I'm going to be adding about 100 milliliters of sealant inside each tube. This is about the recommended amount that it suggests for a 26-inch tube, which is what we're trying out today. Now that the valve core is back in, we're going to pump up the tube and we're going to start puncturing it with different size objects. We're going to be puncturing the tube with a staple first, just to see if it can handle that. This is probably a very common size puncture that you're going to pick up on the roadway, whether it's picking up a little bit of metal, maybe a thorn, glass, stuff like that. It causes a very small hole, so we're just going to see if it'll fill that little space. And as you can see right there, you can see the little dot of green. It was able to seal the hole and no more air is leaking out of the tube. Next up is a paper clip. This is just a little bit bigger than that staple. At the end of the video, I did actually measure all of these items with a caliper so you can see the width of the hole. This second puncture, it did seal up pretty quickly. I know on the first one I didn't shake up the sealant all too well inside of the tube, so it took a little bit for it to kind of settle there in the bottom. But the second one sealed the hole quite quickly. You can see the second little green dot right there. It's all set to go and not leaking air. Our third puncture is going to be a pin. This was just the next biggest object that I could find in the shop. It's definitely going to be a sizable hole. You can start seeing some of the sealant spraying out there as it's trying to fill it up. But it does eventually start to clog everything and seals the hole. We did lose quite a bit of sealant on this puncture, so I'm going to put a little bit more in the tube just to get ready for our last and final test. The last puncture is going to be made with a screw. This is a big 4-inch wood screw. This is something you probably wouldn't be picking up on the road every single day, but just wanted to see if it would be able to handle it. It did leak out a lot of air very quickly. Even some of the new sealant that I put in didn't seem to be filling the hole too quickly. You can kind of see here, it's just kind of losing air very, very quickly whenever I go to pump it up. So I think that is probably a no-go as far as filling up a screw hole. Next up, we're going to try this Muc-Off Inner Tube Sealant. This product is relatively new on the market. I looked it up and it seems like it came out around 2020. I do know their tubeless sealant and a bunch of their other products work really, really well. So I'm hopeful and excited to kind of see what this stuff can do as well. All right, it's going in nice and pink. Again, putting in about 100 milliliters of sealant inside the inner tube. Just like the slime tube, we're going to be starting with the staple. This is just going to make a pin size hole. This is a very common size puncture that you'll receive on the road. So let's see how the Muc-Off handles this. I do want to mention that both the sealants will probably work a lot better inside of a rolling wheel, just so the sealant can actually move around and fill the hole quickly. As you can kind of see, I have to shake it around just to get all the sealant down towards the bottom. But as you can see, the Muc-Off was able to fill this little pinhole. Next up, we're going with the paper clip. Now that the sealant's all mixed around, should fill the hole much quicker. And it's a little bubbly. This is a water-based tube sealant. so it's not going to be quite as thick as the slime, but it is supposed to work a lot better and not clog up the valve over a long period of time. And as you can see there, just a little bit of shaking around, it was able to seal the hole. And up next we got the pin. So let's see if the Muc-Off can handle a little bit of a bigger hole. See how long it takes to fill it. I did have to top off the air again, and as you can see, almost immediately, once there was some back pressure there, the hole began to fill up. These holes should fill a lot faster under normal pressure. If you're running anywhere like 35 to 40 psi on like a 26-inch tube, it seems like it almost instantaneously just force all that sealant to the hole and help fill it really quickly. But as you can see there, it handled the pin just fine. It's bubbling out just a little bit, but this is definitely enough to get you home. And the final test will be the wood screw. Let's see if the Muc-Off can handle this. We do have a good bit of sealant coming out of there. I did have the tube pumped up much higher than before. Let's see if the Muc-Off can do it. Shake it around. And surprisingly, it actually started to seal the hole. You still see a little bit leaking out there. Here I'm going to add some more air just to see if the additional pressure is going to blow the hole out or not. And we got some more bubbles. But again, surprisingly, it starts to seal. So here's all 4 punctures for the Muc-Off. Got the staple, paper clip, the pin head, and then the wood screw. Still have a little bit of air leaking out of the wood screw hole, but based on these test results, I would say this is it's at least going to be able to get you home if you do hit a big screw or something like that. I'm actually very impressed it was able to clog that big of a hole. And again, in a few minutes, I'm going to show you the different widths of the objects that we use to puncture. I know a lot of people say sealant just adds weight to your tube, so I just wanted to compare what 100 milliliters of sealant looks like in a tube versus just a regular 26-inch tube. So as you can see there, it's pretty comparable. You're looking at just a difference of a few ounces. So here you can see the width of the staple, 0.43 millimeters. Then we got the paper clip, a little over a millimeter. Then we have the pin head, is 3.5 millimeters, and then the wood screw just over 5 millimeters, which is huge. So I think the Muc-Off is the easy winner here. It's pretty impressive that it was able to seal about a 5 millimeter hole. This stuff is just as cheap as the slime is, and seems to work even better. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I hope you found this video to be informative.